Hi, I'm Dr. Fran Solomon. I teach environmental science at Western Washington University near Seattle. My focus is on toxic chemicals, especially chemicals that disrupt hormones. These are called endocrine disrupting chemicals, or EDCs. I'm passionate about sharing this information with the general public because many people are unaware that the everyday products they use contain EDCs. Healthcare providers usually don't share this information with their patients. Scientists often talk only with other scientists. However, there's a large body of evidence showing that EDCs harm our health and harm the environment. Now, there are many ways in which we can teach non-scientists about EDCs. We can offer a multi-week course, a 1 or 2 day intensive course, or a single lecture. I've done all of those. Based on my teaching experience, I've identified several venues and audiences for receiving this information. First, here's a picture of what's called Science on Tap. This is a science cafe in Seattle. People can come in one evening a month, order food and beverages, chat with other folks, and get to hear a free lecture. This kind of venue pulls in people who might not attend a lecture at a university and who would not read scientific journals. Another venue that's really important is speaking to university students who are not science majors, because I believe that's important for everyone to be scientifically and environmentally literate. I've also given continuing education courses and lectures for elders, people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who are eager to do new learning. Other venues and audiences include community centers, food cooperatives, cancer support groups. I talk to breast cancer support groups about the links between exposures to EDCs and breast cancer. I've also spoken at the women's prison in Washington State. The topic was very well received. And it's important to reach out to new parents because babies and children are especially vulnerable to the adverse health effects of EDCs. So this part of the poster shows several teaching techniques and guidelines. First, it's important to avoid scientific jargon. By all means, use key technical terms, but define them for the audience. Second, I have found that telling stories, my own stories or stories about other people, is a very powerful way of communicating the concepts. And it's important to show how the information that you're presenting relates to the experiences and lives of your audience. Now, giving a lecture is fine, but you do want to break it up with hands-on demonstrations. For example, 2 students here are demonstrating why EDCs are more harmful to children than to adults. You want to show videos, have small group discussions, answer questions. I also like to bring in some examples of personal care products that contain EDCs and personal care products that are free of them. Now, the information that I present is alarming, and so I always end my presentations with suggestions of what can you do as an individual to reduce your exposures and the exposures of your families to these harmful chemicals. So I suggest various individual and collective actions, and then I like to allow time at the end of a lecture or a class for everyone to identify 1 or 2 actions that they will take in their lives starting immediately to reduce their exposures to EDCs. I have found that when people go public with that, announce this is what I'm going to do, they're more likely to follow through on that commitment. So many people who have taken my courses or attended my lectures have told me about the changes they've made in their lives. For example, switching to personal care products that don't contain EDCs, becoming more informed consumers and voters, advocating for stricter environmental regulations around EDCs, and volunteering for nonprofit organizations that are addressing EDCs issues. I encourage people to share what they have learned with their families, friends, and coworkers, thereby creating a ripple effect and getting the information out to a wider audience on this important topic. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at fran@enviroteach.com. I would be glad to have an online conversation with you.